Okay.
Remember 30 seconds?
Oh, no, I'll remember.
Okay.
But there has to be a little bit of something in between. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because there's always some people that get here a little bit earlier, and all the stuff on YouTube is going to be
True, true.
buffered a bit. So yeah, just
That
need
is
to
very
talk a little
much
bit
true.
first.
And here we
And
go.
that's about it, yeah.
Welcome to a seasonal wrap up for Season of the Worthy, also colloquially named Season of the Unworthy. I am
Mm-hmm.
Oteno, also known as Soto Entertainment. That is Neagle9, also known as Coyote Stash. And
Hello.
today we are going over reset things for the final week of Season 10. And this is also going to be our seasonal wrap up. Also, apparently, there are a few things happening specifically today in the game. It's only really
Mm-hmm.
two things. It's one to look for in the tower, and then the other is a little cutscene that we get. Um, so yeah, let's get into it, and
Alright.
we'll see what we got going on.
Okay. Clicking on my character.
Thank you, Brad, for the host. Okay. So the music that played was the pyramid ship music.
Mm. Good to know that my turning off of the audio cues did affect that.
Right. It also shows you're not in game.
Now it does. Alright, so for those of you who don't know, I actually turn off all like the audio stuff and leave things at low volume because a lot of this game is grinding, which we'll get into, and I tend to watch other stuff while I'm doing all of that. So yeah. Now, where you at? Oh, I can't see you.
Yeah, it says you're offline,
Certainly ain't.
which is interesting.
Which is very fun.
Yeah, it says you're
Alright,
not on.
well,
Oddly
I'm
enough.
going to the tower just to see what happens.
Okay.
Because that's weird. Very weird.
A little bit, and it shows someone like other people are on. It's not you. Oddly enough. Huh.
Well, I see other people in the game, but I see no one on my friends list that's on.
Yeah, it's a little weird. Anyway,
Is there anyone other friends online? Or...
I mean, Fluffy's on his computer.
Ah, well, it doesn't show that at all.
Hmm.
Hmm,
But yeah,
not
so
good.
so that was the little sneak preview that we get for season 11. There will be more, of course, as June 9 approaches, and probably this week at Bungie. But yeah, apparently also in the tower, if you stand where the mountains are and you turn down your field of view all the way to 55, you can actually see the Almighty is actually really close.
Yo.
As in, apparently, tomorrow the Almighty should actually make contact with the tower.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Celestial bodies are that fast, eh?
seems that way. So I'm gonna do what they said. I'm gonna turn down my field of view to 75 because mine is at 105, which is max. I mean, not 75, 55.
Rank. What do you mean, Rep? By the way, what direction do we have to be looking for this?
You would be looking towards the mountains. You'd be on the upper platform near the flag, looking towards the mountains.
Okay, flag. Because you realize the city is mostly ringed by mountains, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I was looking towards the old destroyed tower. Because there's also mountains over there. Anyways, okay, I'm by the flag. Field of view, right?
Uh-huh.
So that would be video?
Yes.
Field of view, okay. 85, I need to remember that.
Oh, yours is on 85. Mine is always on max.
Oh, well, that probably explains some stuff. I can't go lower than 55.
Yeah, 55 is the lowest.
Okay.
But I can't see it.
Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. Wait. Ah! Okay, there we go. Apply changes. Back out. Where are we supposed to be looking at? Is it supposed to be daytime? Because right now it's night for me.
Yeah, it's nighttime for me too. But like, where I'm standing, if you look at my stream, this is where we should actually see the Almighty.
Hold on, let me see if you're... Nope, most definitely not. Hold on. Let me see if you're actually... I can't see much. Alright. I'll restart that, because I apparently can't do that.
What you mean?
I'm gonna be trying to restart Steam.
Oh, okay.
Alright. To desktop. I'm gonna try that, because typically what happens in these situations is that, well, I can't access you guys because for whatever reason... Where are you? Where are my friends? Where's my friend list? I don't even know how to use this thing, honestly. There, friends. Friends list. Oh, I'm currently signed out. That's why. There we go.
I had to like sign in. It was weird. All I had to do was just click it and like.
Online friends, only Fluffy is. So that's fun.
Am I? I should be signed in.
Don't know, man. I don't know. Okay.
Huh.
Let's try this again. Technical difficulties, as always. What's new? Also, Rep, we will be doing some PvP later, but right now we're just doing like a generalized, like, trying to see what's new.
Yeah. Apparently there's supposed to be like something in the sky.
Yeah, apparently there's like a doomsday device heading towards like the main last city of Earth. So yeah.
Oh, it might only be during the day.
Probably because it's coming from direction of the sun.
Yeah.
So that would make sense, right?
That would make a lot more sense. Because right now the moon is up.
Yeah, we might have to wait for day.
Okay, well. Turn my field of view back up.
But
I don't
first,
like being that close.
we need to figure out each other. Because now I can see Fluffy, but I couldn't see you.
Let me see.
Yeah, okay. Fluffy is now online.
Yeah, it still doesn't show that you're online.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna exit to desktop
send you a
and
whisper.
then I'm gonna exit to desktop and then restart Steam.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely sent me a whisper.
What? Okay.
It counts as an unread chat message.
Clan chat is not available, it says.
Oh, now I'm signed in.
What happened?
That was weird. I had to sign in through a different way. That was strange. Okay, well. I'm logging back in.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't even view your message until like it actually allowed me to. That was weird.
Cool, cool.
But yeah, starting off strong, you know.
This is one of the many reasons why I'm gonna be honest. I'm a pop off today. I'm filled with just a little bit of salt for this season.
Well, you
Just,
see, the
you
the,
know,
the issue we
hyper
had,
condensed.
the issue we just had has nothing to do with the game. You know that, right?
Are you sure?
Yes, it's the Steam servers. It's Steam itself.
Okay.
Because Steam signed us out, not the game.
Mm. Mm.
Cause you see me on now.
You're getting online.
Yeah, cause I'm logging in.
Okay.
So yeah,
So what are we gonna be doing first?
that had nothing to do with
What's
the
on
game.
the agenda while you're loading in?
So yeah, so Destiny 2, everybody can agree that that this season was not was probably, well, not probably, was the worst season of Destiny.
Yeah. Out of all of Destiny's history, this unanimously agreed upon by the community was the worst one in all of its years.
Yeah, and that was mainly
And that's taking into
because
account like Destiny 1, the
yeah,
rocky start it had.
and that was mainly because the content itself just was really dry, and the fact that there was a lot of bugs and a lot of issues that shipped out with this season. We're not even getting to like the meat of what we're going to be talking today, but like just in general, that like there was a lot of errors, there was a lot of lag, there was a lot of exotics that remained broken throughout the remainder of the season, and then just recently got like re-released into like the wilds to where they're usable again. Like just there's system and structural like issues that happened within the game for this season specifically, and I think that is part of I think that issue has something to do with the fact that, like, you know, the current state of the world before like things popped off last weekend. But yeah, with the whole
No, I
COVID-19
mean,
thing.
it had problems before the outbreak, honestly.
Well, cuz like this season came out around the time that the outbreak happened.
Roughly, yeah, but we were already seeing symptoms of the problem within this season before the outbreak.
Oh, we
By the
got a
way.
daytime server. Hold on.
It's daytime.
Got a
It looks like the
daytime
sun's going to
server.
be rising soon.
It's
Not
at
quite crested
-55 right
the
now. Let's
horizon
see.
yet. I'm gonna wait till I see the sun.
That's fair.
Ooh, that was a sweet intro from these three jump ships here. Oh, it's about to hit us. Whoa! Never seen them so close. Look at this. Dude, look at this.
Oh, the ships.
Yeah, they're like right here. Hold on. They're intangible. Anyways, yeah,
so,
man.
So yeah,
This is gonna be like mostly talk about like reviewing the season and stuff.
so Bri, to answer your question, if you do not have the season pass, aka the deluxe edition, you will have to pay again for the next season. Just putting it out there, because that was a thing since Shadowkeep and season 8 first came out. That's just a blanket thing. Everybody knew about it. So
Yep.
that's not part of our complaining. That was a thing that was stated in the very beginning. We all knew about it. It is
like
what
for
it
each
is.
of these seasons, I've had to purchase Lit because I didn't get the season pass because I'm dumb.
It'd be like that sometimes.
No, like that was I knew about it. I said I was gonna do it. I didn't do it, so that's on me.
And that's fair. That
Mhm.
is.
So that's why I said I'm dumb.
Yep.
So,
So with this season, it brought a lot of distrust towards Bungie, because there was a lot of things that people were expecting, mainly with Trials of Osiris, because they specifically said in their Vidoc, of course, to hype everything up,
Vidoc.
that Vidoc, whatever, that they wanted to ship out Trials of Osiris not half baked, and that's exactly what it was, half baked.
Mhm.
And it reminds me of how they shipped out competitive for the first time. It was also half baked because it was just a game mode, and you got nothing from reaching the highest rank. Until they added Redrix's Claymore, which was the first edition of the Redrix Broadsword.
Claymore, not the broadsword.
Yeah. And with the Claymore, it got people, going for it and everything, and it was good. And then that took like 2 more seasons later, or a few seasons down the line. And it's now happening with Trials of Osiris. But I think people forget, and they get
Hold on. We should probably go to like a location and actually do something, so it's not just us staring at the sun all the time. But yes.
Yeah. So they, I think people forget the fact that, sometimes things happen, and they didn't anticipate the fact that people were expecting the same stuff literally from Destiny 1. And although we got similar armor and similar weapons, well, literally the same weapons and armor, they were expecting something a bit more. And I think that's the fault of the community, where they set the expectations way too high. Even if Bungie is there to hype everything up, everybody should know by now that you
should never believe the hype.
Well, not even that. Just straight up, you should always temper your expectations, because as an indie game developer now, you can't really expect much in the first season it becomes released. If anything, people should start expecting a lot more as more seasons come, specifically because then they can add changes. They can add more stuff. They can add more loot, more updates, more stuff other people will actually might enjoy.
Yeah, because how much, is Bungie even backed by anyone anymore?
No.
Or are they completely independent?
They're completely independent.
So yeah, they're classified as indie now.
Yeah, exactly. And people, I think people have forgotten, because they're so used to and so spoiled by, the whole backing by Activision and then Vicarious Visions, because we had such a great annual pass, except for maybe Season of Joker, which a lot of people didn't like, although me and Neil thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. Everybody is spoiled by the whole Forsaken experience, because they had so much. But then the moment that all of that goes away, people forget the fact that they're an indie developer now. They don't have all that money anymore. They don't have all the support. They don't have all that backing. They don't have all the extra systems and tools. They just have what they had in-house, which was a lot, but they didn't have all the staff that they have now. Well, they no longer have the staff they had back then, was what I mean to say. But it's just, it seems people forget, and they expect a lot more from Bungie when they're probably doing all they can, although they probably didn't. They could have added a lot more. They could have. I'm pretty sure the community would understand if they were we sat and thought about it and realized, maybe we shouldn't be releasing Trials yet. We're gonna wait we're gonna wait until year 4 or season 12. Pretty sure they would have been okay with it. Although, now that I think about it, maybe
I see it.
You see it?
I see it.
Are you still on the low?
Nope. I don't need to. I see the profile.
Where?
Look at the sun.
Looking at the sun. Oh my god, I see it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn it up so we can get a closer view. I'm gonna turn it down.
I feel like we should turn down our gamma.
Hold on.
Oh yeah. Brightness. Let's actually turn this
down. Wait a minute. Yeah. If you look closely. Yeah, I'm gonna turn down brightness.
Yeah, you can totally see it.
You can totally see it.
Just right there.
Brightness. Adjust brightness. Turn it down to 2. What did you turn your brightness down to?
All the way. I'll turn down all the way.
To 1? Okay. Oh yeah, you can see it.
That's very clear.
That's it right there. If you come over here, near the gun, that's it. That's the almighty, chat.
So yeah, that's what's about to smash into the city.
And according to some lore people online, And they did like the math and calculations and everything. At the speed that it's going, people said that like the Almighty should hit the tower either tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday.
Thursday seems more appropriate because that's when they do small updates.
Right.
So yeah, that's
There it
Doomsday.
is.
That is death. All right, we've seen it.
Can't wait to see what happens in the tower on that day. Let's turn brightness back up and everything.
Yeah, let's go with this.
That's crazy though. That you can actually see that. That's insane.
So, what do we do next?
Where was I? What was I saying?
Wait.
People should temper their expectations. Oh yeah, people need to realize that like you gotta give like Bungie a little bit of slack, just a little bit. I understand all the frustrations, and I understand like like how this season was very much half-baked, very much unworthy.
Use Arc.
Use Arc. Okay. We going into a strike?
Blackout Grenadier.
Okay.
Just regular strikes.
For sure.
I'm gonna turn the dialogue down to that. Okay. So yeah, like it was. Oh yeah, for those of you who are completely unaware, yeah, it's definitely gonna be all talk right now.
Yeah, it's gonna be 100% all talk.
This is our seasonal wrap up. This is what we do every single time we finish a season.
Yep.
And it's gonna be the negative, the positive, and expectations for the future and predictions we have.
Yeah.
So yeah,
so that's currently what's happening right now. Yeah. So yeah, this I think, even though they know how to make really cool trailers and it's their job to hype everybody up and all that, people should still be a little bit more understanding to Bungie as a company now. But people nowadays, they don't care about that. They're like, we paid for our content, we want it, stop giving us crap. But like, I'm no game developer, but I know that mess is hard. And it's not as simple as just flipping a switch. It's not as, although some cases it is, but like it's not that simple where they can just be like, okay, oh this is an issue, okay, we'll just fix it right now. Like it was the same thing with the Felwinter's Light Quest, which is what we're going to be talking about later as well.
All in due time.
Yeah, but
we'll cut these one by one. So yeah, we're beginning from the beginning of this season.
Right. Okay.
Which is honestly the development of it before it even launched.
Yeah. So the way this season began, it was an interesting concept.
Yeah, it stemmed from the fact of last season that we actually saved a friend of ours that has been dead for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
We broke time in order to resurrect a friend of ours, which is a very interesting concept in and of itself. And the quest line behind it all, and the follow-up behind it, was also fascinating. Yeah, that was good. Season of Dawn was not bad at all.
It wasn't. People loved it.
Yeah, it was interesting in a lot of different ways, particularly with a giant puzzle they had.
Yep.
Yeah, that got the entire community involved. That was great.
Although, of course, there were
then
still
they
community
decided they were
drives,
going to bring
but,
back the Trials of Osiris with Osiris's brother, Saint 14.
Uh-huh.
Which makes sense because you want a similar announcer to Shaxx or Saladin. But for Trials, it didn't really fit that Osiris himself was going to be commentating over it, so his brother. Another Titan.
Of course.
Yeah, that was an interesting move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then, okay, so it's like, okay, so then, okay, we were doing this whole thing, the sundial's no longer needed, what's next? And then they kind of like, oh hey, there's an unused asset that we can use. What happened to the Almighty? Red Legion, they're still around, let's just throw this together. Because it just completely blindsided me. Like, we haven't thought about that in what, 3, almost 4 years?
Yeah. Because in theory, well, actually, what every player thought was back in season 1 of Destiny 2, where the Red War ended, it was thought that we destroyed the Almighty.
Yeah, like it was implied that we destroyed the thing.
We destroyed the Almighty. We stopped the Red Legion, all that. But apparently that was not the case, and everybody thought that was very crap.
Yeah,
It
like
didn't
why
make
did
any
you
sense.
take away something that we did?
Yeah. I mean, sure, it may not have been actually stated, but like
It wasn't expressly stated. Oop, I almost didn't
it,
want to do
it
that.
was very much implied.
Yeah, it was heavily implied. So why would you take away a past victory? Makes
Right.
no real sense.
Exactly. But anyway, that was the setup. That was the premise. And I was just like, okay, sure, cool. We're getting involved
Yeah,
with
it was-
Rasputin again.
I
That's
actually
fine.
gave him the benefit of the doubt there. It was like, okay,
Me
this is
too.
a kind of a weird move, but I'm interested to see where this is gonna go.
Right. It was interesting. I was like, okay, we're gonna be messing with Rasputin a bit. That should be interesting. That should be fine.
Yeah.
And then we get to what the season was actually about. So for those that don't know, throughout the season, we got no word of the Almighty until like towards the end of the season.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and then it just now started like affecting the game worlds recently, and it's more visible this week. But anyway, the season starts, things open up, and because I made the vow at the end of
I
season
actually
9.
killed myself.
It's all good. I made the vow at the end of season 9 that I was gonna be more hardcore next season because I didn't like being behind for season 9. I was like, okay, I'm gonna play more, and then I'm gonna be ready for the following season. I don't want to be behind ever again. I mean, I'm still not behind now because I reached 1,000, a little bit more than 1,000. So I did, in a way, follow through with what I said. But I would be a lot more higher level if the game followed through with what they said they were gonna do, what they promised.
Yeah. So, bottom line for what they decided to do with this season was make us do public events, and that was it. That was the whole premise of trying to stop the Doomsday Weapon.
They were
was,
glorified
you
public
know,
events.
Yeah, they were public events. They weren't glorified at all.
Well, I mean, because they were different than what we were used to.
So they created one new public event since Forsaken.
Yes.
How long ago was Forsaken?
That was a full few seasons ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Forsaken was a while ago. At least a year, I think. And
Yeah, 'cause
that
that was
only
a year too.
introduced, like, a few new types in very specific locations.
Uh-huh.
Granted, those new locations were pretty awesome.
Right.
Looking at you, the Dreaming City.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it's been a while.
True.
And yeah, we did get spoiled with all that stuff, and that was like one of the last real times that we got an interaction with Bungie and Activision at the same time, I
Yep.
think.
No, the last interaction
yeah.
was Menagerie. That was their last best.
Ah,
It was their
Menagerie.
send-off.
Okay, that was the true last one.
Yeah. Which did very well, by the way.
Yes, it did.
But yeah, so we get these glorified public events, in my opinion, and that's all they were. They started off interesting at first. Quickly got boring though, because the whole gameplay loop was the fact that you do these public events, you get bits, and then you feed them to the Seraph bunker on the Earth, or at least for the first week. And it was just like, okay, so I did what I said I was gonna do. I went hardcore, and I ground out. Oh, thank you for the bits. I ground out all of Earth. I did the whole thing, and I did it, and it was cool. Until I looked online and saw the loot pool for one of my favorite guns, which are hand cannons, and it was a 180 hand cannon with very trash perks. The auto rifle that you got from Earth was not great. Probably the best weapon out of that loot pool, well, two of them were the sidearm, because sidearms are really good this season, and then
Which is surprising given what it's supposed to be.
right, and then the heavy machine gun, because it can roll firing line. Yeah, so that was already a red flag, right? And then
Yeah.
the moon rolls around, same thing.
Mhm.
I decided not to go so
It was
hardcore.
cookie cutter. It was literally cookie cutter.
I decided not to go so hardcore, and I essentially just did my dailies until I reached level 1000, and then I was just doing mindless stuff in Destiny 2. I wasn't playing much of Destiny 2 other than on Tuesdays. And then when Trials of Osiris came out, I was playing on Fridays, because that's what me and Eagle 9 and our friend Adam planned on doing.
Yeah, we were like super excited for that.
Yeah, that was going to
But
be
hold on,
our
going back
new
to
thing.
the Seraph Towers, the public events.
Right.
You went hard for them, but I don't like public events. I barely did them in Destiny 1.
Yeah.
So I literally never completed a single one.
Yeah.
That's what I did. Seraph Tower completions are currently at 0 for me. I never did any of that stuff because I hate that stuff, and I literally just ground out the Crucible and PvP because that's where I find enjoyment in this game.
Right.
I don't like PvE, player versus environment stuff. Not really. Sure, I like it when I have friends to do it with, like in raids, because
Of
then
course.
it provides an interesting challenge because I'm interacting with people.
Uh-huh.
But I don't like just going up against mindless AI because they're predictable. You can every single time get them. Like it's almost a guaranteed thing.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was my just bit of defiance of the developers.
I mean, and that's completely
Then
fine.
And then we got into like, Trials of Osiris and all of that fun stuff. I was like, okay, yeah, we can get into it. And
Uh,
that's when things got real.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Trials of Osiris is supposed to be this the pinnacle of all PvP. It's 3 versus 3, and you go in, powers enabled, and it's all pure skill.
Yeah, nothing, no holds barred.
Right. So you go in, it's the first week, you go in, and this is also the same week that hard light became the most powerful weapon in all of the universe. And that's all people were using. Until
That
it
is
got
a
toned down.
slightly separate topic.
Right, but I
Yeah,
mean, it's still a little bit
It
part
is
of the problem.
related. It is related. Yes. I
So-
will get into that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll just touch on hard light a little bit. It was considered the best weapon in the game, and if you didn't use it, you might as well not play PvP. We'll talk
Yeah.
more on that later. But anyway, so we hop into Trials of Osiris for the first time. We did all right. We got 2 wins. It was cool.
It was hard fought, but they weren't back to back either,
Right.
which I was kind of expecting.
Honestly,
I was
me too.
expecting like 3 wins, but I did not expect them back to back. So I was like, okay, I'm slightly under my estimates. Meanwhile, the other 2 didn't expect to get any wins. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your thoughts going into it were what?
My thoughts going into it were, okay, we're going to do Trials of Osiris, and we are going to try our hardest, but I'm not expecting us to get any amount of wins specifically, because I know these people have trained hardcore for this, and we didn't really train
Oh
in
yeah,
the
no, there were
elimination
people
playlist.
who were like, going flawless every single week and carrying people through it
Uh-huh.
from Destiny 1 days.
Right.
I knew those people around. I always knew we were gonna get stomped by a few of those people.
So that was.
But man, that first week. That was eye-opening. I was like, okay, we're not there yet, but we're real close.
Yeah. So
that gave me hope.
Right, and
Hope
so
is a deadly thing in the wrong hands.
That's kind of what set things on a downfall, right? So what happened was we had hope. We were like, okay, if we can get 2 wins, every weekend, we'll get better. We'll get 3 wins, and then sure enough, we'll be getting at least our first reward for that weekend, with the 3 wins or whatever, and then we'll make progress. We'll keep going. We'll just continue being good. So second weekend rolls around, we get another 2 wins. It's like, okay, making progress. We have 2 wins on the card. And then third week happens, and I think
what was that the map for?
I think that was Anomaly.
Was
oh
that
no.
Court?
That might have been Widow's Court.
Yeah, and for those of you who are not aware, I hate snipers or any precision-based weaponry because I am my specialty when it comes to combat is close quarters. I am in your face, point blank range, going at it with fisticuffs or blades of varying kinds. That's my style. Or bar that, close quarter weapons like submachine guns and shotguns sometimes.
Right.
My preference, of course, is having it medium to close range with auto rifles and submachine guns. That's what I really like. Kind of like what I'm doing right now.
So yeah,
Widow's Court is a giant, wide open map that is almost specifically designed for snipers. And very long distances. And since this game is on PC, and we're on PC, I have to constantly deal with snipers, so when a map like that is the only map that is presented, I am forced to contend with a team of highly trained snipers. Which is less than ideal. So, I was constantly, like, on the defensive. I rarely went on the offensive for that. And people who are, like, much better than me even stated that they didn't want to play that week of Trials. Like, well-known PvP experts decided not to play that week because they hated that particular map.
This is true.
That's how bad the problem was.
Right, so, and then that's when it started to set in that, like, okay,
something's wrong.
Something's wrong here. Because week 3, we played, it wasn't great. Week 4 rolls around, and I think that was our final one.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so week 4 rolls around, we don't even get any wins. Like, at all. I think week 3 we got 1 win. But our last week, our last weekend of Trials, for those that were there.
It was Anomaly, and then it was, Rustlands.
It was Exodus Blue.
Okay, so it was Exodus Blue and then Rustland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because Anomaly was, I think,
because we got, Rustland twice in a row. I remember that distinctly. Because it broke the trend. You were like, oh yeah, it's just all, like, Destiny 1 maps and stuff.
Yeah, and then I was completely wrong, which I was glad about.
And then you're wrong with that one, so it's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah,
it kept things interesting, to be fair.
It did change things up a bit, because Rustland's a really good map, to be honest.
It's nice. It's a nice balance of close and long range.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it keeps things interesting. Especially with the terrain not being, like, super obstructing anything. Anyways, yeah, so there was that going on. But then we had a separate problem rise its ugly head. And that was the fact that there was a lot of people who well, since it's a free-to-play game, they can make multiple accounts without expending too much.
Uh-huh.
Thus, also for the fact that it is on PC, led to a very toxic environment for player versus player encounters.
Right. That brought the rise of the hacker problem in Destiny 2.
The hackers and just general like cheating or less savory things
Right.
that aren't exactly like against the rules.
I mean, all of it was against the rules, to be honest.
No, because I'm talking about like account recoveries and stuff.
Account recoveries are kind of illegal, though.
Not by the definition of the game, I don't think. Because
Okay.
It's hard to prove, I think.
That's fair.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, you're just letting someone else borrow the game.
Yeah.
Anyways, but that's beside the point.
Right.
So all these like unsavory things were happening that were breaking the experience of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it made people who wanted to go hard in this version of Trials of Cyrus get dissuaded. There was like no point. It's like, okay, what's the point of trying to fight a dude that has infinite sniper bullets or can have super or heavy whenever they feel like it?
Uh-huh.
Or even worse, being invincible by the fact that they can see through walls, get headshots every single time without even looking. They can play the game with a pinky finger and they'll win.
Yep.
So yeah, there was like no point. All of our like hard work and valor and determination just was absolutely stepped on and dismissed as if it was nothing. Where this place should have been like sacred.
Yep.
They just trampled upon it.
Yeah. And
Violence.
unfortunately, that's partially the community's fault, in a way. And I'm not sitting here trying to defend Bungie the whole time. Just a preface for everybody in chat and like for those that are gonna be watching on YouTube. I'm not here to be the one to be like, oh, it's not everything's Bungie's fault or whatever. But it's just like looking realistically, because I have a lot of salt for this season as well. For those that were there for our final trials stream, I went in.
Yeah.
So like for those that might be thinking that like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and defend Bungie the whole time, like that is not the case. I'm just looking at both sides and talking about the realism of it. But like so anyway, that was partially the community's fault, to where like people wanted to go flawless, couldn't go flawless, so they wanted an easy way to do it.
Yeah, and then the people that started, leaving were the people that were of not as high a skill level.
Yep.
So that increased the pool to be more skilled as like the rank and file left.
Right.
That was all that was left, just cheaters and the hyper elite, the hyper lethal.
Right.
So all that there was sweat.
And then
Even for the high level players.
right, so and then with that in mind, that also created another issue which they are fixing, which we will get into. Another issue where the only way to get god rolls and to farm other rolls of certain weapons, specifically Astral Horizon or the Eye of Osiris, was to farm tokens. All you would have to do is you get the boon where you can get tokens, where you get more tokens or whatever for.
Yeah, you pick the option where you can get like more rewards for only winning 3 times in a row.
Right, so
as opposed to all the other options which were higher up in the tier.
right, and there's a reason for that, which I will say right after. But so what people did was they would go into trials, get 3 wins, and then reset their card, because that was the fastest and quickest way to farm and get tokens. And it was heavily looked down upon in the community, but a lot of streamers apparently really enforced it because it was the best way. And
Yeah,
I don't
and they're
blame.
always optimized to go for the best.
Right,
as we all should.
Yeah, and like what I was about to say was like I don't blame them for.
No, that's That's normal.
Yeah.
That's expected.
Exactly.
That is an acceptable thing to do for anyone.
Right.
Honestly, I'm not condemning that at all.
Exactly. Like if there's a faster way to do something, of course everybody's gonna want to do it because no one wants to
Waste
take the
their
long
time.
way. Exactly. Waste their time and take the long way to do anything.
Yeah.
Which is a good and a bad thing, but
Yeah,
that's
that's a human thing.
yeah, that's a human thing. We're not here to
survival.
talk about human stuff. But
that's almost animalistic. In
Yeah.
a way. That's like. Yeah. Anyways. But yeah,
anyway,
so that's normal.
right.
That was expected. That was acceptable.
Exactly. But
But then
and
what
here's
happened?
where it's Bungie's issue and Bungie's problem, where they didn't set up. First of all, they made the tokens disappear every weekend, so you had to
Yeah.
you couldn't save tokens, which would have prevented a lot of this issue. And then secondly, they thought it was okay to put the weapon, a really good weapon, in the first 3 wins. And
Uh-huh.
then they also made it to they also didn't have a
There
reason
was
to go
no
flawless,
reward for being
being the
you know,
best,
going to
essentially.
7 wins with not a single loss. There
Right.
was no point in doing that. It was so much easier and so much more rewarding to only do 3
And essentially farm tokens.
and farm on those people that you were crushing.
Exactly.
Because then you just reset it, and you were done. You just like do that endlessly.
So here's the problem with the way token farming was done, right? So the problem was matchmaking was card based, which started out as a good idea. It was I actually told Neil this.
That was similar to Destiny 1.
Right, and I actually told
Just
Neil this. I
more
was like,
refined.
okay, we have a chance because it's card based, and that means that we're going to be facing people that don't have any wins or however many wins that we're on, which was a good idea. It was great. But then,
Yes, I still think that's a good idea.
right, and it is. It's just people abused it. So like, if you, yeah, they abused the system where, and here's where the problem like became a lot more real to everybody in the community, where
Yeah.
the reason why this is such an issue is because if someone that's really good resets their card, they're 9 times out of 10 going to be facing people that have never gone flawless, that have not even gotten their 3 wins, and have not gotten anything.
Single win.
Right, and it,
Aided people.
Exactly.
It prevented them from making any progress. at all.
exactly, and that's what ended up happening with us, right? And that's
that's
also one of the reasons why we didn't continue Trials of Osiris, because it felt pointless to do so. We weren't, even though we may have, because like, and for those that don't know, we actually went into elimination. We would practice as a group there.
Every single time.
We would practice every single time, and then go in. We would practice every single time, do really well, and then we would go into trials thinking, you know, we warmed up, we practiced, we should at least get 3 wins this weekend. Nothing. It didn't feel like we made no progress. It didn't feel good. It just sucked. And that's
And then I go into like competitive and stuff, and then I'm like Mythic 1 or Fable 3, depending on how well I was doing that week. But it was like, okay, I actually am competent, and a lot of the times I was top of the leaderboard. And I'm using unconventional weaponry, like Cerberus and stuff. Like, again, I'm using Cerberus against snipers. Like, that tells you something. And I go into Trials of Cyrus with my team. We're doing good. We have each other's backs. A couple of us, like, solo enemy teams. And then all of that's wiped away in a matter of, like, a couple of matches. All of that,
it was ridiculous. Like,
gone.
it was so bad to the point where I was just like, I even questioned like my own like gameplay. I was just like, what's happening to me? Why am I not? I've lost it. Because
Yeah,
like me and Neil actually had a talk, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to continue playing like PvP or even do competitive anymore.
Game made him. Sorry, no, not the game. the community made him doubt himself.
It was literally the community.
As a player.
It was really bad. And like for those that have seen me play on PS4 and on PC, I'm not that bad of a player. I actually do quite well, and like
Really good.
I'm really decent with a hand cannon, really decent with my snipes when I can hit them.
Dude, you're amazing with your snipes.
Exactly,
Give
like-
yourself a little bit more credit, man.
Like I don't mean to toot my own horn or anything like that, but
Tell
like-
them of the time you got a collateral against a super.
yeah, like I there was one time where I got a collateral, and I shot a super in the chest, and that chest shot went through and hit another person in the head.
Uh-huh.
Like that was incredible. Like I can do these things, but then after the messy fiasco with Osiris, it was like, what happened? I didn't make.
Which is a terrible thing for any community to do.
It was
to its
bad.
fellow community members.
It was just really bad, and
Like, what are you trying to do, man? Like, why do that to your own people?
it was actually like terrible. And luckily, as weeks went on, of course we stopped playing Trials of Osiris. We were just doing things, and then they released another way to get Pinnacle gear, which is Strikes, PvP, and Gambit, and then weekly clan engrams, which was great. I love that. I'll give them props for that because we needed another way to get higher level other than doing raids and stuff like that. So they did that. That was cool. And then they announced on in one of the This Week at Bungie's, which I actually talked about, was that they were gonna do more things with Trials of Osiris. They were gonna add more stuff, and they were gonna crack down harder on cheaters. Which, for their part, that's really good. I'm proud of them for realizing that they messed up, and addressing the issue and at least fixing it for the following season, or heck, even for year 4.
We'll see.
Right, but yeah, because hackers will always hack. They'll find their way.
Hacker's gonna hack.
Exactly, but yeah, like it was just it was really disheartening to, I don't know, because they because they talked so highly of the game mode that everybody loved back in Destiny 1. It just really it made a lot of people not trust anything Bungie says, because
Yeah, we lost our confidence.
exactly.
We lost our confidence in their ability to give us what we want.
Right. And like I said in the beginning, that's also partially the community's fault. But then again, it's also up to Bungie as the game developer to, I believe you mentioned, like, to keep the piss off factor at a minimum.
Yeah, quote my dad. The piss off factor is never gonna go to 0. All parties will have something to
Welcome
say
back.
about whatever you're gonna be doing. No matter what you do, no matter what you say, you can never please everyone. Someone is gonna be pissed off. So, you just have to keep that piss off level at an acceptable level for all parties involved.
Uh-huh.
Which is why negotiators are so highly prized.
Exactly.
So yeah.
So all that happens, and we got the different TWABs, which I've talked about and are uploaded on my YouTube channel, where they're coming up with all these changes and everything for next season because they realize they messed up, and they're doing damage control, and they're like, you know what, we don't want to lose our players because we know that they love the game, but right now we're letting them down, so we're going to do all these things, we're going to reverse a lot of stuff, things are going to be good. And then the Fellwinter's Lie quest came out.
Mm-hmm.
And for those that don't know, the Fellwinter's Lie
Was an amazing shotgun from year 1 of Destiny. It came from the Iron Banner, and it was, I believe, the only shotgun that came out at the time.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong for that.
that
Okay,
was
so
the
what?
first shotgun in Iron Banner.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like iconic. It was like, oh man, this is like the beginning. This was like taking us back to our roots.
Uh-huh.
And since it was so good in year 1, honestly in subsequent years as well,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, we're gonna bring this back and give it like us history, a reason why it like should be vaulted more than any other weapon from the Iron Banner or anything else, honestly.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, the community was like on and on about it, data mining like various parts about its history and stuff from like the files and things. There was theories going left, right, and center.
Yep.
Then it finally came out, and it
The
fell
quest was
flat on
bugged.
its face.
The this was Bungie's, like, you know, like, okay, the season's ending, let's give them something to at least, like, you know, be hype about and be happy about.
Yeah, because we still hadn't heard anything from the quote-unquote story.
Right. So all that happens, and then the quest is bugged. People went hard over the weekends completing all the Seraph Tower events, because you have to do 9 million Seraph Tower events as a community.
Or wasn't it heroic events too?
Yeah, it originally was heroic, but then they changed everything because they saw that, like, no one was doing it.
Yeah,
It was almost a protest in a way.
it was a protest.
It literally was, because like a lot of the community were just like, you know what? I want to see what happens if we fail. What is Bungie gonna do if we fail? And
Yeah.
of course, Bungie was like, oh no, they're testing us. Let's actually, you know, make it a little easier, essentially. And they did. It was quick. It was cool. They followed through with it. They did what they wanted to do, and people did it. And then that same weekend that we completed it, people were going through. They got to the final step, and they got teleported back to
bugged
Eris
again.
Morn. It was bugged.
It was bugged for a second time. And
Yeah.
this one apparently was something that they didn't know about even at all. Like,
Right. So, a lot of people were yelling at Bungie, specifically at the community managers or whatever, because they were yelling at them for, like, you know, quote unquote not playtesting. But for those that don't know, in order to ship out a game, you have to playtest, or in order to ship out even an update, you have to playtest literally every single thing. But the problem was, which people, of course, didn't want to pay attention to or understand, was the fact that there was an error that happened in the loop, where, in the programming loop, where, and it didn't come up in playtests. And then even when they were trying to fix it, as people kept complaining, they couldn't recreate the problem. And it became this whole thing where people were yelling at Bungie because they couldn't get what they worked so hard for, doing all the public events, even though half the community didn't bother and they just let whoever was going to do it.
Yeah, point in case, I was part of that. I didn't do any of that.
I did a little
was
bit
just
in
gonna-
passing.
I was just
But-
gonna like let whatever happened happen.
Exactly. And it like, yeah, I did it in passing. It was whatever. But yeah, like that was a whole thing. And then they finally fix it. They get the gun. Everything's good. So now we approach the end of the season. We overlook everything. We look at all that's happened. And I come to the realization that this season was built upon false hype, and it fell apart because there was no structural integrity.
What do you mean by structural integrity, though?
What I mean is the things they built it on wasn't, like, solid at all. As in,
So you're saying that they didn't make sure that what they were creating was ready, or what players actually needed. Not wanted, needed.
right. So, apart from the Fellwinter's Light mission, we know what happened with that. That was a thing that they didn't even know could happen, essentially, after playtesting and everything. But specifically talking about with the seasonal activity, if you didn't want to do PvP, and then Trials of Osiris. because the season was built on hype for trials. That was
Mhm.
what it was. That's what the season was essentially built around. Like there was PVE stuff to do, but it was a season built around Trials of Osiris.
Yep.
And
The main focus.
they said they didn't want to release it half baked. They released it half baked,
100%.
and it just it's sad to see because we all want this game to succeed, and it right now it's failing, and hopefully season 11 is better. So now we'll touch on a few other things that we mentioned, and eventually we'll get to the positives. I know a lot of people don't like hearing negative stuff, but a majority of the season was negative. Although there were a few positives, majority of the season was negatives, and people just have to accept that it's not always going to be a positive thing to say about certain things, even if we love the game so much.
Yeah, there are positive things. Don't get us wrong. We're
Right,
not
yeah.
blind to all that they've done.
Exactly, yeah.
Like in progression of this game.
Right. Plus, like, we're not Bungie haters. We love the company itself.
Yeah.
We love the
no,
people. We love the
despite
developers.
Everything that happened, we are still loyal to this company.
100%. Like, I'm still gonna play the game. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm paying for year 4. I'm gonna do it. I'm saying it right here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna buy year 4 in the season pass and probably the deluxe edition. I'm
Ooh,
calling
you're
it right now.
oh.
I'm calling it right now. I'm probably gonna get the deluxe edition. That's just it.
all right.
But yeah, this is
We're in a rough patch.
yeah. I think of it as so for those that play Destiny 1, there was a time in between Taken King and Rise of Iron where there was literally nothing to do. Literally nothing to do. To where
I retired briefly for that time period. To be
Yeah.
honest.
and then it picked
Like,
up
there was
again in
actually, like,
Rise of Iron, but
It was like this. So, you did everything there was to do in the current expansion, whatever it was, and then you retired, and then you hear about stuff from the next expansion. You're like, oh, okay, that sounds really cool, and then you jump back into it. That was the cycle. That was normal. No one ever stayed in the game 100% of the time. It seems.
right. And that was very much true. A lot of people actually quit during that time in Destiny 1. So it feels like a repeat of that. And I always wonder if things could have been a little bit different or like changed quicker if it wasn't for the outbreak. I always wonder that because some things might have been like
It was something that was very poorly timed.
yeah,
But
it
yeah,
was
it's like there's
severely
nothing you
poorly
can do.
timed.
That's like fate interfering with your
Yeah.
work.
It's the universe interfering with things.
That's the best explanation I got.
Yeah, and
Also,
it's
there's a
really
dragon stuck in a
unfortunate.
wall here.
Oh, jeez.
That's
But
interesting.
yeah, it's unfortunate that things happened the way they did. I can always sit here and wonder if like things would have changed. They might have.
That's all
but-
supposition. No one
yeah.
knows what could have been.
Exactly, we're here now, and it is what it is.
Let's write about it, and you're actually, an author.
Right.
Good imagination.
Exactly. But yeah. So now we'll touch on some of the other issues with this game.
Yeah, actually, well, first of all, let's talk about Hardlight and
Yeah, exactly,
the
that's what I was gonna
meta
mention.
that was developed, or was supposed to be cultivated this season.
Right. So I'll let you talk about it since you're an auto rifle enthusiast.
So, last season was all about the precision weaponry. That one was about like hand cannons and sniper rifles and all that fun jazz. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be rough. But I didn't really see too much of a difference, considering that we took a break from competitive for a little bit, and we still technically are. So I was like, okay, it's whatever. Things happen. I'm just gonna deal with it. So I'm like, testing my chops and trying to get good against snipers and all that. But
Which
then I
you
hear about
did,
the next
by the
season,
way.
which I did, by the way. I managed to get mythic rank last season too. So I was like, ooh, okay, my skill.
Right.
Gotcha.
Anyway.
So, I was doing all that, having a fun time with it, and then realized that next season, Season of the Worthy, not only is it going to have Trials of Osiris, it's going to be a fully automatic, like, specific meta. I'm just like, alright, okay. So what you're telling me is that auto rifles are gonna be it. That it's gonna be what it's all about. Alright, that sounds good. I like this.
Which is true.
Because auto rifles have been flagging for years, honestly, in terms of meta. I'm kind of one of the oddballs for, well, a lot of different reasons, but specifically for my choice of weaponry. Auto rifles statistically do very poorly against precision-based weaponry like, you know, hand cannons, sniper rifles, and pulse rifles. So yeah, it was kind of like okay, this is my time to shine. I can really do some great things with this. And I did. I got like a catalyst for a whole bunch of weapons that I didn't have before, and I just started going nuts. Cerberus +1 specifically. But then I noticed like, okay, there's gonna be a couple of you know, exotic weaponries that are gonna be taking the spotlight more than others. Like, okay, you know, probably Suros, you know, because it's Suros.
Right. Suros has always been kind of good.
Dominating since year 1 Destiny 1.
True.
So yeah, but I was like, okay, alright, what else would be good? Well, it looks like, you know, Hardlight's getting a buff. Oh, it already got a buff. Okay, well maybe it's gonna be doing even better, you know, next season, during Season Worthy. I could not predict the amount of buffs that was gonna happen to auto rifles.
None of us could.
Because the auto rifles, or specifically for Hardlight, were already getting, like, you know, buffs and stuff, making it, like, you know, better. And it was pretty good, honestly. Because for so long, Hardlight was like a year 1 weapon that no one cared about.
True.
Because the camera shake was so terrible.
Yep.
But then it got, like, you know, the stabilization, more range, and a couple of other things that I can remember to it. And I was like, okay. But then Bungie slapped us with that adaptive frame rework. And Hardlight was part of that rework. So it got a double buff at the beginning of Season of Worthy this season. It then proceeded to be the weapon within PvP in all of its forms. Because it's so user-friendly to use. Those of you who are unaware, essentially, you don't even really need to aim down scope with this weapon to use it.
Nope.
You can literally hip-fire this thing in any direction, and it'll probably hit someone. Because its intrinsic perks are that it does not have any damage fall-off for its projectiles at any range. And it ricochets its bullets off of any surface without losing damage. Not only that does it not lose damage, it actually increases the damage they do. So, what happened was that new players and elite players alike were spamming these things. They were sitting in blind corners and just shooting these things at calculated angles to close off various sections of the map. And then you had entire teams consisted of that. That broke a lot of the player versus player encounters.
Yep.
Maps
really
that
bad.
had a lot of surfaces were suddenly... You spawned and then died. You never had a chance to actually, like, raise your weapon to fire or, like, downscope or anything. Or even take a step sometimes. Because they just know where you're gonna be.
It was really bad.
It was toxic.
To say the least.
Yeah, I still have, like, a lot more to say, but I'm not gonna because I need to calm down, honestly. So, you say more this time.
Oh, the boss is on me. Feels bad.
I'm dead.
So after that, with well, the whole thing with hard light. Oh, that took me a while.
Don't worry, there's a lot of enemies.
They they nerfed they tuned down hard light a little bit, where it's like, you know, not the only weapon in existence, which felt nice. I was actually really glad about that. Can we do PvP next?
Sure.
Yeah, we're done with our 3.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I was glad about the hard light nerf, but then of course that made a lot of other things really good, like, you know, Suros, which was already really good, and it was just auto rifles all over the place.
Yeah, Suros was competing with hard light. That's how good it was. Still is. It didn't receive a nerf.
No.
Yeah.
And that's
But
fine.
that also kind of looped into the whole Trials of Osiris problem, because one of the weapons that you could get from those, you know,
Oh yeah, the
win
summoner.
loop was the summoner, an adaptive frame auto rifle, or I think it was adaptive frame. I can't remember. I can double check real quick.
It was.
Okay. So yeah, that fed into the problem of Trials, because Trials people were going in with Trials to, you know, flaunt and, you know, go for that god roll. But what were they using those god rolls on? Us, the people that, like, were just getting out.
Yep.
So yeah, it was just not great
It wasn't.
as a PvP experience.
Yeah, to say the least, it was really unfortunate. Yeah. But they plan on improving a lot next season, which I'm glad about. So I'm interested to see what happens. What other bad thing happened?
Honestly, the way that they handled the Almighty situation.
Oh yeah. So for those that don't know, the whole story, well, as we mentioned, the story behind this season was the fact that the Almighty was going to crash into Earth, and we were building up Rasputin to be able to stop it. Rasputin's at full power now. Almighty's still coming. But what's going to happen?
We literally have only a week left of this season.
Right. We have this whole week to figure out something out.
With this season.
They did nothing.
They did nothing. They gave us that intro cutscene, and then said, "Oh, go to Rasputin, talk to him." And then we did, and then he said, "Okay, what you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to farm public events, and then make me stronger."
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all we got this season.
Yeah, that's all we got.
That's literally all the story we got from Rasputin directly, aside from Felwinter's Why, which technically wasn't even about him.
I mean,
that was about Felwinter.
Sort of. It kind of goes along with that, but yeah, it's as a PvE main.
By the way, there's a team of 5.
Sick. But yeah, as a PvE main, I like to do things in player versus environment. I love PvP, but like my heart and soul is with PvE, and there was nothing for me to do. There was nothing, and I was very sad because, like, it's not like I wasn't expecting. It's not like I was expecting like a new raid, because, like, you know, I obviously am aware of like the lack of sources, but like it's just they gave PvE players like almost nothing to do. And that was my main true gripe with how things was, with how things were. Like, oh, we traded, but like it was just poorly done, and I hope there's more of a balance for next season. It was just really sad to see.
By the way, there's an Arbalest user.
Oh, Arbalest, okay. Oh, where did they come from?
Hup. Yeah, go on.
But yeah, it. Oh, what?
Yeah, that dude.
Goodness. No, there's just they're everywhere.
Aye.
Yeah, it just it sucked, and I just hope that things get better. I feel like they are. But you know, we'll just have to wait and see.
Mm.
That was my gripe with the PvE content. It's just not really fun.
Yep.
So yeah, unless you have more to say, we can start talking about the actual positives of this season.
Short list. Yeah, I think we're ready for that.
Okay. Yeah, we talked about enough negative stuff. Oh wait, no. One more thing I have to say, which is a constant throughout every season, is the matchmaking. I won't go into detail because it's the same thing every single season. I refuse to go into detail. We're moving on. So the positives. Let's start out with yours, because I think I have a little bit more than you do.
Yeah. All positive that it's actually going to be taken away with the next season is the fact that the Warmind cells were super interesting as like armor perks.
I loved the Warmind
I
cells.
never used
Oh
them
my
myself
God.
because I don't care about PvE, but yeah, they were probably the most innovative armor system that I've ever seen in Destiny. That was phenomenal.
It was so.
So,
Warmind
I don't know
cells-
too much about them.
Absolutely
but do you want to
incredible.
describe more about it?
Yeah, so with the Warmind cells, there were these mods that you get from like, you know, completing the moon and stuff like completing certain things, and then also from the from the season.
Nice combo, by the way.
Thanks. Oh crap. There was this one specific that was an arc mod from the seasonal artifact, and it just made everything incredible. Like literally, arc builds became the meta, and it was so good. Warmind cells essentially, if a Warmind cell spawns, either by using Seraph weapons or straight up like arc energy, anything like a arc melee specifically, it sent out a Warmind cell. You shot it, and it exploded, and it did a lot of damage. I mean a lot of damage. Like so much damage to where like it would one-shot a whole lot of red bar enemies, and it would bring down yellow bar enemies pretty low. It was OP. It's so good. But unfortunately, it is going away, as most things in seasons do.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. We expected that. It still sucks though. That was one of the cooler things of the season. But yeah, that was nice. What else you got on your list?
Not too much.
What else you got on your list?
Hold on, I'm dancing with the super right now. Okay, I lost him. Anyways, yeah, so the Warminds were amazing, and they actually kept some of the old, like, you know, perks from last season that comboed really well. So yeah,
Powerful friends.
powerful plants. That's what I'm using right now.
Exactly. But yeah, the everything good about the season generally was gameplay related.
Mm-hmm.
Like in game.
Sorry, you're gonna have
bless.
to cover me for a little bit.
What happened?
I was dealing with the guy that killed you.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Ow! He still got me, even though I was headshotting him the whole time.
What else was
Man,
really
that guy must
good?
have a Switch list. Anyways, yeah, the lore they're creating behind a
Oh
lot
yes,
of
the
these
lore.
like legendary weapons, not even exotics,
Yes.
is really amazing.
Yes, yes, yes. Holy crap! The lore for Fellwinter was so good. It really made you think, because it's like, oh snap, Fellwinter was created by Rasputin, because he originally was a golem meant to like gather information and like all this other stuff,
What
and
was
it's just
the
like, whoa.
reference? Well, it was
Siddhartha.
specifically
Siddhartha Golem.
Siddhartha, which is a reference to which is a reference to the Buddha and his name before he actually became the Buddha.
Uh-huh.
He was a prince back then, which
Right.
honestly kind of fits the theme, because Rasputin was a prince in his own right.
Uh-huh.
Anyways, these guys out.
All these guys with the Arbalest, man.
Oh, Fellwinter's lie got me. Nice.
There it is.
Yeah, I popped Super, and he got me with the Vorpal weapon. Looks like.
Yeah, probably.
Anyways, yeah. So the whole lore behind that was fascinating.
Bungie has some good story writers.
Yeah, they do. And like I said before, I think that they should go into like, you know, serious book writing.
I agree.
Yeah. Like, not just like the comics or the anthology books they made, because that's just chronicling what they've already done.
We're gonna talk about
And
future
for-
stuff in a sec, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, it's interesting, and the fact that the darkness was gonna be like coming in. That
Yeah.
that's
So
finally a thing.
that-
so, yeah,
that-
this is a segue.
the moment when you go into the Rasputin bunker and you start to see the pyramid ships actually showing up on the map, that was real
That
cool
was
for me.
Grade A stuff.
I loved that. That was so good. I was like, yo, they are setting up for some stuff right here. Like, if Bungie does it right next season, holy
Okay,
crap, it's gonna be one of.
Let's take it back a bit. What was the map in Rasputin's bunker, and what did it show us?
Right. So
as the weeks progressed.
the map in Rasputin's
that
bunker, right? So the map in Rasputin's bunker essentially showed a map of our solar system.
All the way from the Sol, our sun,
Mhm.
to the Kuiper Belt, which is beyond Pluto.
Right. And there was a lot of stuff that were like, turned off or blacked out. And we just thought it was because, these planets are active because, that's the ones that we're going to in the game. But turns out it's because the pyramid ships, aka the representation of the darkness in the game, were
Yeah, the
actually
big bad.
destroying and absorbing these planets one by one.
Well, we don't know if they're gone permanently or not, but they're
Right.
certainly gone dark.
Exactly. So my prediction is that like the pyramid ships, they invaded these planets and just completely destroyed them. I think that's a possibility.
It is a possibility, but then again, during the collapse, when it was last year, they weren't destroyed. So who knows? Maybe they've just been converted instead.
Maybe. But
yeah, maybe they're being weaponized. Who
that is a
knows?
possibility.
Yeah, why destroy what you can use?
Exactly, that's
Is
true.
what I've always said.
That's true. But yeah, like they
Destroy old sniper rifles, I see.
Hey.
Uh,
But so like the pyramid ships are coming in and they're, deleting these planets essentially. And as the season progressed, as we got closer to Fellwinter's like questline, the pyramid ships were actually showing up. And
one by one they come.
each week there was more and more,
Yeah, each week
And
it
more?
like it grew in number.
and so much so to where
The Death Doritos were coming.
right, the Death Doritos, yes. But so much so that they were getting close to Titan. And there is a prediction and a theory that that next season or the start of year 4, we might actually lose Titan as a planet to visit, and it'll replace it with something else. There's someone sitting in the corner with a recluse. on
Yeah, I know.
A. But yeah, like there's a possibility that we might actually lose Titan, and I think that's really cool. Cause like cause for too long in
Yep.
Destiny 2, we haven't had like actual disaster. So that's why I'm also partly hoping that
We
like
had times of peace.
exactly. So that's why I'm also partly hoping that the Almighty actually does hit the tower.
Yeah, because we can kind of get a reset.
Exactly. Well, like not
don't
even a
know, back you up.
reset, but like just straight up disaster and like how the Vanguard responds and how the players respond. I want to see some like actual disaster happen to the Guardians.
Zone advantage is yours.
And that's why I think that like next season, if
Oh.
anything, it'll set up like this new disaster and threat, and then the start of year 4 will start to like eradicate it. I think like at the end of season 11, like a majority of the Guardian lifestyle is going to be destroyed.
Well, that's unfortunate.
And I think that's going to be really interesting.
Anyways, yeah, so yeah, like we don't know what we're gonna be expecting with all this fun stuff.
All I know is if on paper, it seems like it's about to be really cool. So, Bri, you asked about the raid for season 11. As far as we know, there is no raid until season 12, because that's what they mentioned in the This Week at Bungie for those that watched. Because they don't have the sources, but if anything,
Let's get close.
thank you for the host. But if anything, they have the sources for next season, for season 12, which is fine. I'm cool with that, because like I'm not expecting a raid like every
We
season.
got company.
Okay, I'm not expecting a raid like every season, so
Yeah, I would expect it for like a $20
releases.
expense or something like that.
Yeah.
A big one.
like
big
like
stuff.
like the fall expansions essentially.
Yeah.
Lemon Arc.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like so if we're talking about the raid for season 12, let's make predictions. What enemy do you think we're gonna be fighting?
The new enemy type, hopefully.
I was about to say, you think it's gonna be the new race that they might introduce?
Yeah, hopefully.
I sure hope so. I think that'd be sick, because I'm tired of having the same enemies over and over again. Although it was nice to involve the Black Garden.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. And even though our group never beat the raid, at the end of the raid, it's the same lady statue that was there on the pyramid
I
ship.
heard.
And I find that so interesting. I'm so curious about that. I want to see if they do more with that, with season 12, or at least maybe season 11.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hopefully it'll be the new enemy race that we might be getting. I'm really hoping for that. I'm also hoping that that the raid for season 12 like is actually really good. Like I hope
Great.
it's a lot more rewarding than Garden of Salvation was, because there was a lot of energy weapons in Garden of Salvation. There was no balance in the loot pool, to where like when you're trying to get powerful gear from doing raids, the majority was going to be energy weapons, and that doesn't really help anybody, because you need power weapons, you need kinetics, fun kinetics as well. And like, you know, there wasn't much in Garden of Salvation, although the energy weapons were good, but like if you're looking at it at like a gearing standpoint, you ain't got much to go off of.
Mm-hmm.
Fight for vengeance. Take their lead.
So you know, but yeah, that's what I'm excited for. If we're talking about raids, but now let's go over like what we want out of season 11. We're not even talking about year 4. We're talking about year 4, probably on the 9th, since there's gonna be a reveal about certain stuff. But yeah, tell me what you want. You know, what you want.
Sorry, I'm using super.
It's okay.
Anyways, what I won't. Well, I want swords. I want more swords, obviously.
Uh huh.
Preferably an exotic sword that's new.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, it's because we haven't had like. Okay, so the update we got last season was very much appreciated for me as a sword user, but yeah, we haven't gotten like anything new in quite some time.
True.
But for what to expect next season, or what, well, yeah, expectations-wise, I don't know what's gonna happen, and that excites me. I have no expectations.
Honestly, yeah. Like,
Yeah,
of course
by the way,
we can
they
make.
have, B button down.
Yeah. Of course we can
Let's
make
hit it once
predictions
or not.
about the raid, and like there's a possible new race coming. But like the fact that we have no idea what's gonna be happening next, oh, that excites me so much. It creates a mystery, and it's just like, what's gonna happen next? What are we doing? Bungie, what you got for
Ooh,
us?
and he.
Oh, 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 they're everywhere. That's a bubble.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
God, a bubble is it? Oh, the bubbly.
Mr. Mobile.
Okay, trying to go for B. Anyways, but yeah, so, like, we're obviously not gonna get a raid. But what we are gonna
Season
get,
11
I
now.
have no idea.
If anything, we won't get a new race until season 12. By the way, that's what we were talking about. Season 12, raid, all that. But yeah, I'm real because we can sit here and make predictions and like, guess about stuff all day. But the fact of the matter is, we don't know what's gonna happen, and because there are predictions that like we might lose Titan, next season, we might be going to Europa next season or in season 12. Like, I mean, there was a trailer on the Destiny Instagram that showed Eris Morn walking on Europa with what possibly looks like might be the first Darkness subclass, and it's just like, and then it said more information June 9th, and it's just like, is that for next season? Is that for season 12?
Who knows?
And that's the exciting part. I'm just like, yes, make me excited about Destiny again. Like, I love that. It hypes me up so much because I want to know more.
Hold on. Let's take it back a little bit.
Yeah, I'm getting a little too hype. I'm
No,
excited.
No. Let's talk about another possibility. that
Okay.
is very real.
Yeah.
What was the planet that Cade was talking about during his stash mission?
Europa.
Was it Europa or was it Enceladus?
And Enceladus is on Europa, apparently.
Okay, never mind. Then yes, Europa.
The
Okay, I
Deep
was
Stone Crypt.
Yeah, exactly.
We might be
And
going there
all
next
Anna
season.
Bray and her family stuff.
We might. I think this season might have been to set up the fact that we might be going to the Deep Stone Crypt, because everything revolving around the people inside this season have dealt with the Deep Stone Crypt.
Mm-hmm.
We might get a 6-man player activity that involves the Deep Stone Crypt. What if we save Cade? What if we bring back Cade next season?
No. I don't want Cade back.
Actually, yeah, that would ruin a whole lot of stuff story-wise, wouldn't it?
No, I don't. We got one freebie. One. And that was Saint.
Yeah.
And that's because we had a pre-existing thing. I don't want Saint back, honestly.
Cade.
That would feel wrong.
Yeah,
Cade.
see, like, now that I think about it, they shouldn't bring back Cade. Like, if that is an idea, they should, like, not go through with that.
His death was final, and it should be final.
Yeah, well, I mean, technically it is, because, like, Nathan Fillion's not a part of Bungie anymore. For that. For voice acting and everything, so. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
ignore the comment I made about Cade. That was just me, like, getting all, like, extra excited.
Yeah, you're a little bit too hyped.
Right. But
Go
yeah,
back to
like,
execution, man.
but I feel, but going back to the Deep Stone Crypt stuff, like, I want to know so much more about that. And I feel like with this season, if we are going to Europa this season, or even like season 12,
So,
I think it could be really interesting.
I was killed by a teammate's Ward of Dawn Blade
That sucks.
because there was an Arc Staff user on the other team who twirled it back at me.
Yeah.
I was waiting for him to like open up so I can shoot him.
Right. That's unfortunate, though.
Anyways, yeah. So with the darkness closing in, there's that it's such a big question mark that they can go anywhere with it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, positive.
That's definitely a positive thing. We're actually really hyped for next season, or no, we're hyped for the future of Destiny, if done
Yeah,
right,
we've
of
been
course.
prepping for the darkness for years now.
Mm-hmm.
So this is their biggest opportunity to pull us back in.
100%.
Maybe not this next season, but they have to do it very soon. If they don't use it next season, I can understand why. The darkness isn't here yet, but we should be getting something from it because they're at Titan.
Right.
They are on one of the locations on our map. So yeah, something. What else good? What else is there? What else we got?
Shoot, we got perk updates coming. We got man, there's a lot. There's a lot coming to Destiny 2.
Just start going down the list.
Okay. So, there's perk updates happening. There's the tuning of reload skills. There is you know, they're bringing adept weapons in the near future. They're I forgot if they were doing anything with matchmaking, but like they're adding more tokens and stuff like that for Trials of Osiris. So Trials of Osiris seems like the closer it gets to the future of Destiny 2, like next year it seems, they're gonna be doing a lot more for Trials. It's gonna actually seem like a viable game mode. So I'm hype about that because I actually enjoyed the concept of Trials. It's just it was inputted poorly this season for season 10. But anyway, there are like these are, well, they're quote unquote called redacted engrams right now, because they don't want to actually reveal the name of the season yet, which they haven't. I'm surprised.
Which is interesting.
Yeah,
it's a week away and we have nothing for it.
Exactly, that's why I'm so excited. But that's why
maybe
I really
it
think
is
it's
the season of redacted.
Imagine, or the season of the deep. But yeah, right. But like there are these engrams where they drop in the similar rate of legendary engrams, and with these engrams you can focus on like what you want, where like if you were going after armor, you have a higher chance of getting the armor. If you're going after certain weapons or god rolls, you have a higher chance of getting that specific weapon. You can focus on like the past season weapons, which they are adding to the loot pool, by the way. Also, there's specific weapons that are coming from like the past seasons into the loot pool, into the world loot pool. So that's gonna be really good, really nice. For new planets, they might be bringing new planets season 12, not next season. And then for new maps, they probably will bring out new maps next season, or especially in the fall expansion, they would have to. But yeah, there's that coming. There is the elimination of essentially Eververse, where like armor ornaments, weapon ornaments you would think that would come from certain activities, they're actually going to be a part of those activities. Raids are going to have like actual ghost shells and like ships and sparrows that drop. There's going to be a whole bunch of new stuff, and that's one of the greater moves that Bungie's ever made. They're like, you know what, Eververse ain't working out. We're going to move all the stuff that people want from Eververse into the actual like, you know, activities, into the core activities: Strikes, Gambit, Crucible. Like there are very clear like ornaments for certain things that are just like, all right, that should have been in Gambit, or oh, that should have been in Crucible.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I softened them for you.
Yeah, or like, oh,
And
that.
fun me. Awesome.
You're right. Or that, or like, oh, that should have been in Strikes or whatever. Like they're adding that kind of stuff now, and it's really good. They're doing so much, and it's so good for next season, like season 12 and stuff like that. It's incredible. Like they're bringing the game back to its original focus of the core activities and not just public events, because that was so trash.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's super exciting, and I honestly just can't wait for for all of that, and things are gonna be really good. They're gonna be buffing they're gonna be buffing a few archetypes for certain weapons. They're gonna make some other weapons really good. One of Neil's favorite weapons actually is gonna be really good. The Halfdan
All
D.
reliable.
They're gonna make like slow firing pulse rifles really good. They're gonna make slow firing hand
I
cannons
got a
really
fucking
good.
sword. I'm sorry.
It's all good. They're buffing dynamic sway reduction. They're buffing pulse monitor. Basically, all the perks that were quote unquote trash are gonna become like decent now. Either that or like really good. They're gonna make hipfire amazing, or not super amazing, but like they're gonna make it really good. And that's gonna bring up the last word again, which I'm not exactly too hype about, but it is what it is. Some things go up, things go down. It is what it is. It's whatever.
Yeah, my old reliable weapon is the Halfdan D. I used that back in Destiny 1, or sorry, Destiny 2 Year 1, and it has dynamic sway reduction, which is one of the things that are being nerfed. And they did go out, or sorry, Bungie
Buffed.
did go out saying that
Just
I'm also trying to shoot.
just to clarify, dynamic sway reduction is getting a pretty good stability buff. Anyway,
Agree.
continue.
So yeah, all of those things are going to be combined because they did say that
They're buffing other.
non-adaptive frame weapons were, or sorry, auto rifles were gonna be buffed.
Yeah.
Next season, they're gonna be they're gonna be focused on.
Exactly.
That's the entire team,
Go for it.
and now they're all gone.
Yeah, they dispersed.
Yeah, not having that shotgun.
Fair.
Yeah, he anti-S warded me. I waited a split second.
Ah.
He still got me, but I still got him.
Right.
Anyways, but yeah, so all those like kind of weird auto rifles that I'm a fan of are gonna be buffed because there's really only like two. One. Yeah, don't even bother with that. Just ignore him.
I'm just like teabagging. Imagine. But yeah, like they're
Oh no, you doing? I was planning with this dude. I was literally running circles around him, trying to waste his super. I did, but then the dude with the Actium War rig was just like, okay, you're done. I'm shooting you. Or sorry, Legend Actress.
Right.
Man, I'm all over my place with the inaccuracies.
That's all good. But yeah, things are looking real good. And also, people might have forgotten that like in the Vidoc for the Vidoc for Shadowkeep or for the Moon, they mentioned that season 11 is the one people do not want to miss. They specifically mentioned season 11 was gonna be
what season are we on?
season 10.
Okay, so this upcoming season is it.
Season 11, yeah. Apparently, they mentioned that was gonna be the one people do not want to miss. That people want to be there for. And that makes me really curious, like, all of this, all of the bad storytelling and the good storytelling, and like the unfortunate seasons, they were all, if they are truly all to build up season 11, and then of course the fall expansion, that makes me really hype.
Well, let's see what happens, man.
Like I'm excited, honestly. Like I don't want to have my hopes up completely because, well, you know, season 10 happened, but I'm still very much excited. I'm hyped for whatever they're going to do. And like I'm here for it.
Okay, they're back spawning me right now.
Nice. Oh, he
That's
does
Legend.
have Legend of Arceus. Interesting.
When was the last time you saw some heavy?
I haven't.
You wanna report that?
Oh.
Yeah.
it's like that.
Because I didn't see heavy when I got killed with it the first time either.
I had heavy once.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have
Interesting.
fire teams.
Mm-hmm.
Down.
Ow, I got suppressed.
Oh
Oh,
no.
Have a
Suppression.
it's almost like I don't really rely on my abilities too much.
Right.
3 minutes.
Oh yeah. One major thing we should mention, and we should give our thoughts on, is sunsetting.
Right, we didn't mention those.
Because that is a very hot topic in the community right now, and the community is split down the middle.
Keep the pressure on.
And I understand both sides. A lot of people want it, and a lot of people hate it. They think it's going to ruin the game.
I can understand that, honestly.
But I also understand that, like,
Also, 10 kill streak?
hey, I can also understand that, like, it is a much needed change. It's also something that we've had before.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about it for a little bit. Let me explain exactly what it is. So sunsetting weapons and armor, apparently, is where certain weapons and armor will have a max power level. They will be only leveled up to, well, they can only be brought forward as,
Oh, okay. They're stacking their supers.
yeah, they're stacking bubbles. I mean, it is
Yeah.
a team of war. But yeah, so sunsetting essentially is they're going to give certain weapons and armor
Finally died.
pieces a max power level. That way, like, if you were to
Zone A captured. You have
if you were to want to use your, let's say for example, spare rations, since that's a hot weapon right now. If you were to want to use your spare rations, like in year 4, season 12,
zone C lost.
in like in-game content or in-game PvP, because it's so good, you won't be able to, because it can't go any higher than it's essentially allowed to. Then like it's essentially allowed to, and
Yeah, which I'm kind of annoyed about because that actually will destroy high impact assault rifles. You can only get 2 of those in the entire game, and they're specifically from old events.
I mean, unless they add more, they are buffing them.
True enough.
Like I said, we don't know about a whole bunch of stuff. We can only just make predictions. But oh,
Ow.
that wasn't a teammate. Oh, that was a teammate. I'm all over the place. But yeah, so that's essentially sunsetting. They're basically making it to where if you want to do like in-game activities where power actually matters, like Iron Banner, you're gonna have to use the more updated weapons and stuff like that, which is fine
Die.
because it will bring in, you know, fresh new weapons and a new meta and new loadouts for people to try, which is cool. But the problem people don't like is the fact that they worked so hard to get certain weapons and they don't want that to go away. I got no kill. Oh, I was about to say I got no kills that round, but I got 10. I was about to say, because I saw all the zeros. I was like, come on, man. That round was rough though. But
Yeah, you were doing most of the talking, so sorry.
yeah, it's all good. But that I can understand why people would be upset about that. Although in activities that don't require like power level, you can still use those weapons. Like the weapons aren't being deleted; they're not going away.
Yeah, what I think they're trying to do is create a blank slate to work on.
Yeah, every
Because
year.
they realize that there's a lot of well, inequities
There's
that
also power
were
creep.
developed in their weapons system. Not even talking about power creep.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like the actual mechanics of the game.
right.
So they're trying to make it to the point where they can actually work with it instead of having to play catch up with their old system.
Exactly.
Like constantly providing buffs or nerfs to whatever is currently fashionable, I
Right.
guess you can say. So yeah, they're trying to get it to the point where it's just something they can actually work from scratch from
Mm-hmm.
without having to completely eradicate all the previous weapons. They'll still be around, yes, but they're not going to be in the spotlight anymore.
Exactly. Like there will
So,
be
yeah.
like spotlight weapons to chase, and like they're
Yeah.
bringing back pinnacle weapons essentially, where like the next recluse, obviously not the same recluse, but like the next overpowered weapon for that year or whatever, for that sandbox, for that meta, and then it'll go away, and then there will be something new. It's like Neil said, they're creating like a blank slate thing where like, okay, these weapons will be really strong for
Control.
4 seasons, because essentially what they were talking about was like everything
Take ground.
started in season 11 and season 12 will be good for will be good for all of year 4 essentially, but everything season 1 through 10 essentially.
Wait, what are you doing?
I don't know, I'm trying not to die, but
You did.
everything season 1 through 10 is getting sunsetted. Once when season 12 hits, that's getting all those weapons are getting sunsetted, because they're bringing in a lot more new stuff, and they want people to get new stuff, and they don't want the new stuff to be infusion fodder essentially,
Mm-hmm.
which is fair, because they worked so hard to make those weapons, and then we just go back to using our old reliables, which isn't
Yeah.
like I
Which
said,
is
I see.
interesting to note, because what does that mean for exotics?
Well, exotics, they're not gonna have they're not being sunsetted at all.
Okay.
So that means that like exotics will stay exotic.
Zone advantage is yours.
Awesome.
Yeah, the exotics aren't changing at all. Like the exotics are not having max power levels or anything like that. So if you have an exotic,
Ooh, look at me.
oh yeah, look at you, bro. If you have an exotic that you love more than anything in the game, you can still use that exotic. You can
Right.
bring it up to max power. You can bring it up to the highest power you can in that season. Like the exotics aren't going away, which is probably the best part. But I'm on the side of I'm for sunsetting, specifically because I want new weapons to use. I'm tired of using like spare rations, dire promise. I want new things.
You have zone advantage.
And that's why I'm glad that we have Fellwinter's Lie, because it's a new thing and it's not necessarily getting sunsetted like in 2 seasons. It'll probably be sunsetted year 4, season 3,
Mm.
because it's every 4 seasons that those weapons get sunsetted, right?
Now hold.
So yeah, like if anything, it won't stay powerful forever. It's only going to be powerful for like limited time, which is fine. Thank you for the bits. But the one thing I am a little iffy about is the sunsetting armor. Now, I actually, no, I take that back. I don't see why sunsetting armor is a thing. I don't understand it. There probably is a reason for it, and they probably will explain it. But sunsetting armor almost doesn't make sense to me. But I think it's because they don't want people to use old armor anymore.
I mean, it's probably 100% the truth.
Yeah, that and like they're bringing transmogrification, which essentially is like
He tried to super me.
ooh, which essentially is like your favorite armor pieces can become basically outfits.
Mm-hmm.
Like those pieces will be outfits for those armor slots, which is cool. Which I'm really glad about, because if they're sunsetting armor, then that's the perfect like patch up. Where like, okay, you won't be able to use this armor anymore, but you can keep the look. You just have to be using better stuff, which is completely fine. If like I'm okay with that. I just don't exactly understand why they would have to. Okay, Legend of Acreus is interesting. But yeah, like I'm that excites me. That well, like
Got killed by Dracula.
that kind of
Thanks, Vlad
eases
Killer.
that kind of
Sorry.
eases
Yeah,
the
but,
burn of sunsetting armor. But the unfortunate part is for those that have like masterworked their armor pieces,
You have zone advantage.
although exotics aren't getting touched, so if you masterwork your exotics, you're fine. But if you're masterworking your legendary armor pieces, you will have to grind those materials again. You will have to go back and masterwork the new stuff. But then again, to be fair, for new armor, we have a whole year, 4 seasons, to be able to masterwork our armor. And if we can't do that in 4 seasons, then there's something wrong.
Mm.
You know? Like, in theory, you should be able to masterwork our favorite armor set from year 4 before the 4 seasons are done.
Agreed.
So, like, for the people that don't like it specifically because you have to, you know, remasterwork everything, like, it's not really that much big of a deal.
Zone A lost.
It just means that you have to play the game more. Oh no.
5 minutes remaining.
Jesus. Dude scared me.
But yeah, like that's if that's people's main issue with sunsetting armor, then that sucks for you. You have to play the game more. Oh no. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you don't enjoy the game enough to play it a lot, to where you gotta
Yeah, like, okay, so you go out and, like, get the armor.
You have advantage.
You then have the armor. Sometimes if you're, like, you know, sufficiently good enough at whatever you do, you don't even really need the armor.
true,
Like, the armor helps. It's not mandatory, I feel.
right?
It does give you an edge.
It does.
100%.
100%.
Like, there's no denying that. That's a fact. But it's not everything.
Where is this dude? What the?
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to split push. I should do that. Ow!
Zone
Don't
B
shoot me.
lost.
Go on.
Sorry, I'm being shot at.
Lost the lead.
So yeah, it's just like, okay, so it will go and help you out with things. 100%, yes. Will it always save you? Probably not.
I mean, the only thing that matters really is the stats. You can
Yeah,
get
the
better
stats
stat
are
rolled
really what we
armor.
want. And with the couple of, you know, armor perks that are available, it kind of gives you some of those boosted stats anyways.
True.
Wow, I can't believe I killed that dude.
Nope.
Ow.
But yeah, like armor technically doesn't matter, especially with the fact that like
Ow.
you're gonna be able to just wear whatever your favorite set was anyway.
Yeah.
Opponents have built
Like
destroy it.
I see no issue.
Mm-hmm.
3.
I see no true issue. Sure, it may not make sense at first, but like when you look at the whole thing, there's truly no issue with with sunsetting armor.
Zone B captured.
Nice.
Other than thank you. Other than the fact that like you're gonna have to play more to get new armor, masterwork them, and then and then be
Sorry.
ready for another year of new armor and stuff. Like, you know,
Mm.
I don't sympathize. But the another good thing that's happening in the next season or so is every year they're adding a new armor set to everything, new weapons to everything. Like
Ow.
it's really nice. That means we're gonna get new Gambit armor, new Strike armor, new Crucible armor,
Zone A lost.
and stuff like that every new year, and I think that's dope.
I saw red. It was just the color of his armor.
I feel that. But yeah, like I think that's really cool,
From this loss,
and
fight again.
that's the perfect timing to end it.
Mm.
So to wrap up our discussion, any ending thoughts since it is 8 and we just finished our Crucible Core playlist thing?
One that you can win. Fight
How
another.
apropos. Apropos. There we go. Anyways, Season of the Unworthy. even though it was called Worthy, had a couple of things going for it, but as a whole, did not pass inspection.
Yep.
New season has a lot of promise,
A lot
but
of potential.
the ball is very much in their court, and it's looking to be close to out of bounds.
Yeah. Same thing for year 4.
Mm. But yeah, that's just general, to have an extended metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's
Take me to the tower,
that's
please.
okay.
But yeah, wrap up everything here for me. Season of the Worthy, season 10, as I'm just gonna straight up call it, season 10, did not live up to everything it could have been. They could have done a lot more with it, but they didn't. And it's probably just also unfortunate timing with the state of the world at the time of the start of the season. And
Yeah, a lot of this can also be chalked up to the fact that the world is going mad.
and limited resources because they have to
And
work
there's
from
no more
home
resources and all. Yeah, like it's gonna be rough for everyone for
Yeah.
a while.
for a good while.
Yeah, 2020 has not been kind to us.
No, it has not. Especially
Yeah,
if you live in
so-
America right now. 2020 is not
If
great.
you live in the world, period.
That's true.
I think America has it bad. Other
Oh,
people
yeah,
don't
I
have,
know.
problems just getting fresh water daily.
See.
Anyways,
And then you got the situation in China. But anyway.
yeah, that's splitting hairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So overall, like things could be better. Then again, things can always go better.
Of course.
Then again, things can always go worse. So just take your lumps.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm still gonna play the
We're
game.
not going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this,
We're not leaving.
we're just heartened, but we're not leaving.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, if year 4 starts and it's not great, I'm probably gonna leave the game altogether at that point. Because, I mean, 3 years of Destiny 2, 3 years of Destiny 1, and they can't get it by year 4 of Destiny 2? I don't know. But yeah, essentially, if the start of year 4 season 12 is mediocre or half baked as this one was, it's gonna be really bad. I think a lot of people are just gonna be done at that point. If season 11 is not great, I bet you a lot of people are gonna be leaving. So, like that's just it. So yeah, Bungie. I'm hoping that y'all got it together with this season in year 4. I'm really hoping that
I'm at the office.
okay. I'm really hoping that y'all got it. Because I like me and Eagle 9, we want this game to succeed. And it has the opportunity and the chance to be successful. It's just there's a lot of issues right now, and I just hope that they can figure it out. Of course, you can't please everybody, but I just hope they can figure it out.
So yeah, with that, we're putting
Also,
this to a
hold on,
close.
isn't this
Oh,
Cabal
what was it?
music? That's playing
hear
in the
nothing.
tower?
I hear nothing.
Right, because you don't turn on music ever.
No, I actually do, but not it. No music plays in the office.
Oh,
At least not for me right now.
it sounded like Cabal music in the tower.
There
Anyway.
was Cabal music in tower when I was first walking in, but not
Yeah.
in here for some reason.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Cabal music. Anyway.
Anyways, so
Destiny
yeah.
2.
Destiny 2. Oh, the trials and tribulations we have to go through for this game, and this company in general.
Yeah.
So, you seem to have a pattern for when we do intros and outros. So
Yeah, so that means it's your turn?
your turn.
My turn?
Because I did yesterday.
Right, okay. So yeah, my final thing I'm gonna say is that despite everything that Destiny as a franchise has been through, there isn't one point in my whole time of playing this game where I sat there and thought, I wish I never would have picked up Destiny, because this game is great overall. It just has frequent rough patches, but a lot of things do. And I think we as a community for Destiny,
It's a little bit high maintenance relationship.
yeah,
Just a little bit.
just a little bit, but I think we as a community for Destiny need to realize that, like, they can't please everybody, and they're doing the best they can. Especially with like the most recent Felwinter's Live situation, they did the best they could. It wasn't even an error that came up during during play testing. Like, it sucks being in Bungie's position right now. But I hope that for their sake, Season 11, Year 4 is the beginning, at least the start of Destiny 2 rising up again. That's
Amen
my
to
final
that.
thoughts on that. So with that being said, now is our outro. Thank you all.
Quickly go to the bathroom because I really need to go.
Go. Thank you all very much for watching. We appreciate all of you that came through here today. I am Oteno, also known as Soto Entertainment. Soto Entertainment is my YouTube channel, which is where I post all my streams and all my videos, including This Week at Bungie's and my Final Fantasy VII Remake Let's Play, and any other Let's Plays I decide to do in the future. Feel free to comment, like, and subscribe there. I have a lot of videos. All my streams are there. Feel free to enjoy those to your heart's content. I have a Twitter, which is at SotoEntertainM1. That's where I post when I go live only. Because Neagle9, now that he's affiliate, he now has a Twitter, which is at Neagle97. So everybody give that man a follow so you know when he's going live. Because we don't always go live at the same time. We don't always go live together. Especially when he is playing Mass Effect on Sundays. So yeah, give that man a follow. I'll put it in chat. It is at Neagle97. I had my caps lock on. Oops.
Back.
7. That is his Twitter. So yeah, that's his Twitter and everything. And so go give him a follow so you can see when he's going live next.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah.
put all my stuff on my channel as well.
Right. So his YouTube channel is more of like a Let's Play channel. It's cut up into like 10 to 15 minute bits. He has everything from his Bloodborne Let's Play to Gears of War to all of our Halo stuff. And a few Destiny 2 things on there. But yeah. He also has a DeviantArt, which is Anarcanine. It's where he has his story up that he's been writing since high school. And which is called the Stormy Chronicles Origins. He also has prophecy tablets for that. Stormy Chronicles Origins is essentially a sci-fi fantasy story that takes place in 2012 in the events after, if the Mayan catastrophe thing, apocalypse, actually happened. Yes.
Keep going.
Okay. And then he also has a little mini series called Our Crucible, which takes place from the perspective of our guardians, Oteno and Neagle9. Originally it started out as like a Crucible PvP mode thing only, but then it branched out into so much more after we started having a dream about the Deepstone Crypt, and a few other things that are coming on in the pipeline with Trials of Osiris.
And includes the season that we're currently in.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like this is something that like is ongoing.
Yes.
It's not stopping because it's based on reality.
It's so far right now a mini series, but it's gonna be nothing like a mini series. It's going on until we end Destiny 2.
Yeah.
Or until Destiny 2 ends itself.
Yeah, that also seems likely.
Yeah.
Yes. Go on.
But yeah, so yeah, that's that. And Arcanine is the DeviantArt. That's where you can find all of his stuff. Well, both of his books, stories.
What's the difference?
True. So our schedule is the following. On Mondays we do Halo 2. Well, it's just Halo campaign, Halo story mode. Right now we're doing Halo 2 because that's the most recent that came out on PC, and we're going through that. We're making progress. We fixed the issue that we were having. Turns out it was like 2 of the skulls that were causing problems.
Yeah, the physics broke the game.
Yeah. So now we're down to 10 skulls, and it's still a lot of fun. You guys should definitely check it out. It's on Mondays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. All times are 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. except for Wednesdays, which I will talk about. Tuesday, today, it is Destiny 2 reset stuff. Next season starts June 9th. Are you trying to be live at? Are you trying to be live at 10 a.m. for that?
Now.
Yeah. Are you trying to be live at 10 a.m. for that?
Well, considering that we really can't go anywhere, probably.
Okay, so expect to see us live around 10 a.m. If not, then we will both announce it on both of our Twitters if we aren't gonna be live at 10 a.m. So stay tuned for that for both of our Twitters. But yeah. So normally Destiny 2 reset Tuesday 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Although next Tuesday is gonna be something special because it's the new start of the new season. Hopefully an exciting one. Wednesdays is our D&D session with our DM and a few of our other friends. And it's called Fate's Hand. It is from 8 p.m. to midnight. That is when we turn on the mature filter because we talk about adult topics and a whole bunch of other stuff. And it gets pretty crazy sometimes. And also it's also pretty funny. So if that's your thing and you can handle some adult topics, some triggering topics, then by all means come through. If you can't handle them, we completely understand, and we advise you to not come through because some stuff is pretty gruesome and pretty grimdark.
Why did I get kicked back to orbit?
Because you've been idle for too long.
Oh.
That's still a thing. So yeah, that's on Wednesday. And then Thursday, Neagle9 doesn't do anything, but I do. I do TWAB readings or a variety or a gaming variety.
Oh no, I got beavered.
You got beavered.
Uh-huh.
That sucks. Interesting. That's also one of the issues that happened this season as well. All the beaver and weasel errors. Anyway, on Thursdays, TWAB readings. That starts at 6 p.m. and ends whenever I end it because it's essentially me talking about This Week at Bungie and then going over my thoughts about it. And if anybody's in chat, we can exchange, thoughts and ideas about it and talk about what you guys think about it. Or if you guys have any general questions about me or the game itself or what I'm going to be doing next or anything about my streams. It's basically my time for to get connected with you guys more. But if I'm not reading the 12 because I don't think it's that interesting, then I'll either be playing Phantasy Star Online 2, which recently just came out for PC. I'm having a blast with that. Or I will be starting up a new music game. Well, technically it's new for PC. It's called Sound Voltex Gravity Wars. Sound Voltex 3 Gravity Wars. It's on the eAmusement Cloud thing in Japan, and I have to download for it. I have tickets for that, so expect to see that very soon. I'm still figuring out the layout for streaming that. So that's Thursday. If it's a normal game, a variety game, it'll be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. If it's a TWAB reading, it's a video format, so it'll be from 6 p.m. to anytime I end it, and it usually lasts anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes or longer, depending on if people show up. I saw you die.
What?
On Friday, is our Halo multiplayer / variety. We have other game modes to we've done like firefight and everything, and like grunt apocalypse and everything that we're also testing. But we also have Halo 2 multiplayer, which we're currently messing with. Since we're both
Which you
having
really love.
since we're both having a blast, especially me with it. That's what we're gonna be doing until we essentially get bored of Halo 2 multiplayer. Right now, it's not very boring at all. Not boring in the slightest. So yeah, that'll be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Stop moving me. The Saturdays is artifact / weapon hunting. Currently, because there are some weapons that Neagle 9 just does not have yet, and me and the rest of our clan / friend group that also plays Destiny 2, we're helping them get them. But unless season 11 or year 4 has something to do where we want to do it on Saturdays, like raids or anything like that, then that'll be replacing that. So yeah, that'll be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. as of right now, as of this recording, until further notice. Sundays I don't do anything, but what do you do on Sundays?
No, you can explain.
I need to drink some water first.
Okay. Well, he doesn't do anything. What I do? What do I do?
He streams
Unless
Mass
you're doing
Effect.
the full- Oh, do I?
The boy streams Mass Effect 1 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And I happen to sit in on it sometimes. It's more of like a let's watch. Essentially, how Neagle 9 described it was it's very cinematic, and the only thing he's actually really doing in the game is like, you know, the inputs for dialogue and the combat, of course. But a lot of it's very movie like. It's very nice to sit and watch. The story is really good. The characters are really
Also, the
good,
music is pretty chill.
and the music is pretty nice. So yeah, you guys should definitely come by and support him. He'll be announcing that on his Twitter, or saying when he's live on his Twitter, like I have aforementioned. So yeah, and then we come back to Monday and Tuesday and all that. So yeah, that's our schedule. That is it. All of our schedules are also on our Twitch pages.
Yeah, if
Since
you
the
don't want to
new
hear
Twitch
the
update.
long version of all of this, the explanations for stuff, just view our Twitch pages and Twitters and all that.
Yeah,
Because,
that's where
we're gonna be
scheduling
putting stuff on
is. Exactly.
Mhm.
So yeah. Also, Neagle 9, you should probably start announcing when certain chapters come out on your Twitter.
Agreed.
So yeah, that's another incentive for you guys to go check out his Twitter. You're gonna be posting some stuff there. Right now it's just streaming announcements, but could be a lot more happening.
Indeed.
Got some chapters finishing up for his main story, and then for our Crucible, he's got some ideas flowing. So there also might be maybe sneak previews of certain chapters.
No.
I tried, guys. I tried.
Sorry, the only one that gets to see that is the editors.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry guys, I tried. But anyway, that is it for us for now. You will see us tomorrow for D&D at 8 p.m. Be there if you see fit. If not, that is completely okay. All right. Love you all very, very much. We wouldn't be here without all of you. And I'm pretty sure that means a lot more to Neagle 9 than it does than you guys think. Because literally because of all of you, he became affiliate, what, a day or two ago?
Yes, I did.
So yeah, he's got a sub button out and everything. He has emotes down the pipeline that he's going to be talking to some people about. It's all good stuff coming. So yeah, that's it. We love every single one of you. Even if it's just small numbers, you guys are the true troopers. Love you all very much. And we will see all of you wonderful people tomorrow.
Thank you and good night.
Bye.